Hey guys, Kaido here today with another video, and today I got you Kindred matchup guide. And if you guys haven't noticed from previous videos, that I'm going to Korea 1 month, so my plan for the next few weeks, I'm gonna try to post more concept related gameplays that you will see me use in Korea, and I will post gameplays here and there. If you guys have suggestions for any specific champions you want to watch me play, I'm all for it. But yeah, but today we're gonna talk about Kindred matchups, and this is the tier list I made. I've been playing this champion since Season 9. I've been Challenger since Season 7. I was originally a Kha'zix Rengar player, and then I turned into a Grace player, which led me into playing Kindred, they're all very similar in a way, in terms of invading, fight style, and just overall carry jungling preference. So I don't think matchups have drastically changed over the years. They're pretty much very similar. Maybe some changed a little bit here and there, considering runes and jungle pets, etc. But yeah, we will go over each and single one of them. So let's go into the first slide. Okay, Lee Sin and Bel'Veth, they're very hard matchups to play, just because they usually will stat check you and they're able just to stick onto you very hard. And you've probably seen this in previous gameplay videos and stuff. But best thing to do in these matchups is just try to scale. You could outscale these champions very hard. You want to take Conqueror PTA, and some of the slots will tell you which runes you should take, and then some of them you just take whatever you want, which is your own preference. But you want to play for the team fights. In isolation, it feels very rough to play against these champions unless you outplay them. You outplay their dashes, their let's say Bel'Veth W, Lee Sin kick, going up against the wall to where you ult and you're still not able to be kicked out of your Kindred ult is a skill that you will have to develop. There are some certain places where you fight where you are fine for Lee Sin, but usually you want to respect him and just play with your mobility. So that is my advice, and you should buy Tabas versus them usually, so keep that in mind. Okay, hard matchups. Kha'Zix, Lilia, Jax, and Zinza. So you want to make sure you don't get caught off guard versus all these champions. But Talia is it's just a cringe champion because she can E your dash, so you can't really get onto her unless you're able to flash onto her or just have the first hit, have the flank potential or whatever on her. But versus the other champs, you want to be scared. Well, you don't want to be scared. You want to be very be prepared of them jumping onto you. If they have the first hit on you, you will most likely get ran down, and it's hard to play. Any HP you lose early game versus these champs, you start getting suffocated. But if you get the first hit on all these champs, but Jax, I think Jax is just no counterplay low key until the team fight stage. But the other champs, if you get the first hit, you can actually beat them 1v1. But it's still very hard. Usually I would run Conquer versus all these champions, except maybe Talia. You can go Hail Blades or PTA or whatever you want. And go Phage, in my opinion. I think Phage is so OP versus these champs, just having extra HP. Because if you go Conquer with Phage or even PTA, you just need to survive to where you're able to have enough HP, basically, to just kill them after their initial burst. I feel all these champions have, they're very burst heavy, but in prolonged fights, I think Kindred can excel. Kha'Zix is good with the more Qs it gets, but you could still beat him because the champ is not that tanky. It just has a lot of damage. So if you go Phage, and then sometimes I buy Cloth Armor just to cheat the matchup, they can't really kill you. So that's what I would do. So Tabas are just OP in general. Very nice to have on Kindred. If you ever need tenacity, that's where I suggest you go with Sen later on. There's always gonna be magic damage in every comp. Reverse every comp you play against, unless they're literally trolling from champ select. But if you know, you know. But usually Witsen is just a great item on Kindred. So if you pair Tabas with Witsen, it's not like you need to build Wits first. You can buy the second item, for example. But just having this pairing, you would be very tanky. And Tabas just counter Kha'Zix with an HP item. I play the champion, I always get triggered when I see a Cloth Armor built into Tabas because I actually need a Last Whisper to do damage, or I just need to be extremely ahead. I need to be up a full item and a half on the guy. Not even just up a Dirk. Let's say I'm Yumus plus Dirk, it's not even enough to beat Claw. It's just that OP. So remember that. Okay, scary matchups: Rek'Sai, Zara, Shaco, Rumble, Talon, Yi. I'll cover Yi after. There's a separate slide for that. But let's talk about Zara first, because you might not think it's that scary. But when Zara was very strong, and if she ever becomes strong again, the reason why this matchup feels bad is that you cannot really invade her because she clears way too fast. It's like Karthus, pretty much, and you can't even invade her level 2, because you just do it too slow. So Zara will always just play to outpace you in farm, and that's how you would just never be able to find her with her in the jungle because she's just clearing way too fast. So you would have to sack a lot. Let's say we have to sack a whole quadrant to be able to try to cheese her, and if that cheese doesn't work and she gets like the upper advantage on you, like you're just screwed in the game. So Zara is very scary unless you're able to get cheese early game. If you're able to walk into her jungle level 1, destroy her plant econ, so she can't just clear her camps fast. That is the best way to play against Zara. Just fighting her level 1 is very necessary. So to me, just walk into her jungle level 1 and just try to disturb her game. And for the other champs, Shaco and like Rek'Sai, Rumble is a champion I think is scary because when he's strong in the jungle, he has a lot of damage output. You have to actually respect him in terms of his damage. So you can't just like fight him if he's ready to overheat, right? So you need to really respect the damage. And then versus the other champions, just make sure you don't get cheesed. You have to respect their level 3s. Their level 3s are very strong. They're stronger than yours if you get caught off guard. Though if you have the first hit, you can beat them, but usually I would suggest not to because like Talon would take Ignite sometimes, and then Rek'Sai, if he flashes on you and just gets all your HP, you're not able to get a sizable HP trade back. Like the champ will just control your whole jungle. So you need to be careful when you play against these champs. Okay, now Master Yi. So I put a mini map on the top red side where you should ward on whichever side. So if you're red side, those 2 wards are very good because Master Yi can start his red on blue side, and he can just walk in from Tribush or through the river ramp, and then just cheese your camps and then potentially kill you or just kill your ball lane. It feels cringe. He can do the same thing on he can walk in your jungle level 1 if you don't ward level 1 and just kill you at your red, and it's just no counterplay. And same thing on red side. If you're blue side, like he would just walk in level 1. It's just, this is what your champion does, and this is how he makes the game very cringe. Like another path, I didn't put the word for it, but like if he's red side starting red buff, right? He can walk all the way around to the top lane, the top bush, and walk to your blue and Gromp, and he will clear both camps in time, and then he will cheese you. This is just how Master Yi will play, and if you get past like this early game like cheese fiesta versus Master Yi, like you will like do good into him later on. Of course, if you have CC, right? If comp like actually is built properly, the Yi should have a hard time playing solo queue, but it's solo queue, right? People play certain champs for fun. They love playing the no CC challenge, like, but every comps needs CC. You cannot end the game without CC. Like, it's actually hard when you play good. Like when you're playing real games, like you need engage and CC to end the game. Like you just need it. Like how do you progress the game if no one can go in? Right? It's like 5 mages versus 5 mages. Then like what are we playing, right? So to me, Yi is a very shit champion unless you hit the lottery, pretty much. So just make sure you don't get cheesed early, and if you have CC on your comp, you will gap this champion so hard, and you should go Conquer. Okay, 60-40 matchups, and basically means it's Kindred favored. And the reason why I think they're Kindred favored, all these matchups, is because either ultimate counters them, or like counters their identity, or like she just pretty much out DPSs these champions if she is having a good, healthy gold economy game, and she has good marks. So we're going to talk about some of these matchups in depth, and I put some notes for it. So let's talk about some of the champions, individual champions I have. Okay, I know people talk about how like Viego is really good in Kindred. I've seen like Reddit posts and like people in my Discord say that. And it's like, they're like, oh, it's so cringe to play against this champion. I can cheese it, and he just like gaps my team in 5v5s. I mean, yeah, that's what Viego does. It excels in skirmishing. That is the whole identity of the champion. Though your champ is also very amazing at skirmishing. If you ever get ahead on this champ, or even if you're even, like, you can outplay Viego. Like, you can ult his ult targets. Like, when you play against Viego, like, a good amount of time, you know who he wants to reset off of. Like, there's very telling signs. Like, I mean, the guy who's low. Like, it's just all it is. So, mark the Viego well in team fights, and in the early game, like you can invade this guy. He loses to you 1v1, Viego hard. You can run PTA, Conqueror, Hail Blades, doesn't even matter. I run Conqueror usually, but you shell on this champion with the amount of dashes you have. You can dodge all of his abilities. You can dodge, which is pretty much all his damage. Because if he doesn't land Q or W on you, he doesn't get the double auto passive, and that's a lot of his DPS flat out gone, like in the fights. So you can stat check this champ if you are pretty good at Kindred. And to me, it's kind of like a scrum machine diff. Like if let's say the jungle players, like probably the champions, are like evenly skilled, it's kind of like a support diff because usually like both Kindred and Viego indeed engage. So whoever just engages well and fights well will usually win out in a even type game. But yeah, it's not that bad of a matchup. End of the day. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so if you don't know, there's like this guy called Karthus and Challenge Rene. He's like the best Karthus in my opinion, and he permabans Kindred, and there's a reason. Kindred just shits on Karthus because you can constantly invade him, you can dodge all his damage, which is from his Qs, and just kill him. And as Kindred, I actually don't even bother farming my camps usually if I think I can invade. If I can't invade on the first round, I'll force invade on the second round. Like, you know what Karthus' path will be. Like, he can only full clear. Unless this guy started the game, making the game demented from level 1. He's just, like, invading, like, your route to camp, whatever. But, like, if you ever find out what his path is, you just have to invade him. And you will always beat him in the 1v1. Like, there's zero counterplay. And you usually want to run Conqueror PTA versus him. And you want to keep invading him and keep slowing down his farm. Because if you let him farm, he will outpace you. He can easily be up 2-3 levels on a Kindred. Because Kindred cannot farm reliably. Like, Kindred needs to fight. She needs to get marks. And you cannot get marks and gold just by sitting there farming your camps. Like, Karthus can because he farms way too fast. And then he can gank a lane before you even finish your full clear. Or he can just take your camps even from yourself. Like, this is just how Karthus is. Same thing with Zara that we talked about earlier. Like, these champions just farm too fast, and like I keep saying, farm. Like sometimes it's just how you win games. Some champion identities are just like that, and your identity is to fight them. Like you are a better fighter if you catch them. So you must find a way to invade. If you can't invade and you're playing a handshake game, like you probably will just lose most likely, unless your comp is just a lot better than theirs and you're able to get marks and play for the objectives. But if you ever like catch him on a very good timer, his game feels very bad to play. Okay, Lilia. She has a very fragile early game, and you can invade her as much as you want. Her clear is not that insanely fast. It ramps up throughout the game, so meaning it gets faster and faster the more items, like components she has. She only feels good into Kindred later on in the game when she has a lot of items and she's able to move in and out of the fights. And if her comp is good, right? Let's say Lilia MF, Lilia Yone. Those are like the main two I can name right now. But there's a lot more. Like, there's a lot of Lilia pairings that make her very disgusting in the fight, like 5v5 in the team fighting. So you want to basically slow down her game, slow down her 6, and just keep fighting her because you are a lot stronger early game. And if you keep fighting for her camps, and which you should win, the isolated 1v1, and a good amount of time, you probably will win the 2v2 also in the early game. It's just that this champion will spike at 6, so make sure you respect her 6, but you can still fight it for sure. And another thing you can do is you can rush Woodsend versus her, which is very OP. And you can buy Woodsend to Triforce, into Cleaver. Those are the two main ones I do, but you do either or, whichever you want. And it's very good into your champion. You get it more, you get tenacity, and you can go Tabas if you want now. You can go Swifties if you want now, like Zerkers if you want. Like, you build whatever you want, honestly. And usually I will go Conquer. I will go Conquer usually, but you can go PT or Heal Blades. You can go full Valley each time and just keep one-shotting the whole game if you want. But yeah, that's like the best way to play into Lilia. So I know I talk about a lot, like about invading, like invade. But you can invade if you want to match up. You can also just play a standard farming game. Just handshake the clears and just play for neutrals, play for ganks. You can play for his like second round invade. It's very OP to play, especially if you don't want to like risk the first round. On the second round, when the camps are all respawning, if you get like a Raptor camp steal on them, right, you basically will know where they are for a good portion of the rest of the game. And that's very OP, especially versus level 6 champions like Nocturne, Lilia. If you're able to attract them, you can counter gank them, and like you should win the counter gank. Like your Kindred, you have your ultimate like saves people, and then like they will use a lot of damage on the initial part of the Nocturne ult, and if you're there to like save their teammates, like you can win the 3v3, 2v2, whatever like numbered fights. Of course, it's not always guaranteed, right? But like, usually you should just win early game fights if you do counter gank. So I suggest you play for second round invades if you can't do it on the first round. If you can't do level 2, level 3 cheeses, but if you steal camp, you steal their second Gromps, second Raptors. To me, Raptors is the best camp to play for. Your mid laner can help you get them. So if you play for mid pro into Raptor steal, then their jungle will have to just go to their last camp, or they would try to invade your camp even, and you can pay to fight them there, which is better for you because Kindred should be stronger than Nocturne early game, unless you are melee ranging him and he's just fearing you for fun. So yeah, that's my advice for Nocturne. Okay, easy matchups. To me, they're very easy because you will out DPS them at all states of the game pretty much. Yeah, pretty much all the champions I see here. And another one is your ult just counters some of their identities. Counters Vi. It can counter Jarvan. Hecarim. Salas is good. Well, like he can grab your ult, sure, but in the ISO 1v1, if you just invade this guy, his game is just GG. Like he can't fight you back. He has no damage, and he can't even clear his camps. Like you think Kindred clears like a bit weak at times? Like Salas actually cannot clear if you invade this guy. If he loses any HP, he has no sustain to be able to clear camps. So invading so many champs are very OP, especially like Nunu, or like even Nunu Zac is very good. So like you prevent Nunu from just like ganking your laners. Versus some of these champs though, I suggest you buy like early shred armor pen. Bork just got nerfed, so otherwise I would suggest going Bork versus like Mundo and like Zac and stuff, but I don't know if that item is worth building anymore, so I'd probably just build like Kraken Cleaver or like Kraken Mortal Reminder or something, I think. Triforce Mortal Reminder even, like Triforce Cleaver. Probably like combos like this, play against some of the tankier champs on this list. And we're going to talk about some of the individual matchups. But yeah, usually some of these champions are just very weak early. You think like Olaf is very strong actually. Like he is strong if you get hit by axes, but what's the one thing he lacks? Mobility. He can't dash over a wall. Like he probably will have to flash on you. If he doesn't have flash, then like you just make fun of him. So there's like small unique things like that. Briar, just terrible champion. Never lost to his champ. Just don't like fight her for fun. Like use her mobility and like just laugh at her when she's running into your team, running it down. And let's see. I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, let's go into the individual matchups now. Okay, I know Graves is very strong right now, but this has always been a Kindred favorite matchup because you straight up out DPS the champion, and you can actually dodge his like his Q ability, his main damage ability with your Q, and you're just very mobile on the Graves. I know he has grit stacks, but that usually doesn't matter. You can go any of the rune choices you want, but usually I go Conqueror or PTA, and you just stat check the guy pretty much at any stage of the game, unless he's just spoon-fed out of his mind. Like, I mean, that's just like jungle matchups in general, right? Sometimes like you win the matchup, but they get like a couple of kills, you can't play the game, right? Armor boots also counter him very hard. Think about buying that. And I think also his smokescreen, you need to respect it. Like, it can outplay you very easily, so you need to be mindful when you fight versus the Graves. When he has smokescreen, it will cancel your autos, and you can get like, if he smokescreens you can't, maybe you don't know his Q's coming out, and then he hits you with the Q, the double part, and then that's a lot of damage outputs that you could potentially have dodged. So try to play your range well, try to do like gap pose him well with the, like you have pretty much 3 Qs when you use W, if you use your Q at the beginning of your W, right? So keep that in mind when you're playing against the champion. So versus Hecarim, you stat check him at all stages. I do think, I don't remember though, pretty sure 3-stack Q Hecarim with Conqueror can beat you, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Kindred still wins, but usually I will Conqueror PTA. Invading is very OP, so you can delay a 6. Anytime you get like a good invade off him, like his game should feel very rough to play. The champion needs to full clear over and over and over, because this guy needs a lot of XP, a lot of gold, and the best way to do that is through camps, into kills. But Kindred wants to fight. A lot of Kindred's identity is to just fight her way out. Like, it's just how the champion's designed to play. You don't want to full clear. Like, if you are full clearing for certain champions, like the game will just feel like shit. And you need to be able to find opportunities to invade, tracking the jungle camps, like invading his second clear. I talk about invade second clear because that's like usually first clear should be hard to invade at times because laners or just good warding. So if you invade the second clear, fight for the second raptor camp especially. That is just one way of getting a lead on the Hecarim and being able to track him. And maybe I should do a concept video on it, like playing to invade, especially the second raptor, is a concept that every jungler should need to learn because that is one way to opening up the game and just being able to track the enemy jungler. When you track the enemy jungler, it feels very hard to play. You guys have definitely felt it yourselves when you feel like, oh, I can't play the game. They know where I am. They have a living UAV on me. Like, it will feel like that at times, and as it could be planned or even unplanned by the enemy team. Like, usually I would say it's planned because no way the guy's just doing for fun. But like, yeah, that's just how you play League of Legends. This is how you get leads. So let me know down in the comments below if you want to see that type of like content. Well, Udyr. I say it's very boring because this champion, honestly, I don't know how people enjoy playing this champion for lots of games. I understand like playing like games here and there, but like playing 50, 100 games at once, like I actually don't understand. This champion is so boring. But like Kindred pretty much just outscales Udyr like easily. Like your whole champion just like Udyr can't play the game. Like, Udyr only feels OP when he's at like 4 or 5 items. Do you know how long that takes for a jungler to get 4 or 5 items? Unless he's killing the whole map, it takes like 25 minutes or something. Like, that's not real. Like, Kindred is very OP. From like level 3, she becomes very strong. First item, she's very strong. Second item, like item and a half, like she's just stronger and stronger. While Udyr just needs to farm and outscale, and you always will be able to kill him. With Kraken first item. Kraken Cleaver is very good. Kraken Trap versus Last Whisper, I think, is probably the most ideal. Kraken is very OP early game into the mid game, which then will snowball into your later items. So, to me, versus Udyr, just make sure you don't get cheesed early game. If you start blue buff, you can do the Raptor camp into your blue buff, which is very cringe. Also, make sure to not lose camps for free. Always make sure that you're trading same camps because he could get XP like levels on you, and you can be like sometimes by mistake you can be level 6 to like level 4 or level 5 because you decide to spam gank too much. Like make sure you don't gank too much. Make sure you have a good balance around farming and ganking because your game is just always going to be better than his no matter what, unless you're just team gapped. So, but Udyr players usually ban Kindred, from what I remember. So most likely you won't get to play this matchup, but if you do, you will 1v9. Just play for marks, get your items, and you will GG the game yourself. Okay, Warwick. Treat him like a mastery, like an easier version, I would say. Usually, Warwick is just a very psychopathic champion. It kind of just wants to fight you, so just make sure you don't randomly get like cheesed in like bushes that he's like sitting in, because he will run you down. He's able to stick onto Kindred quite well with his Q and his E, so make sure that doesn't happen. I would treat him exactly like Master E, probably get the same exact wards, so if you need to see which wards you need, go to the Master E slide from earlier on in the video, and just pace him well. Like when you hit him, he gets slowed down. That's just how a champ is. I think when his W is active, or let's say he's sniffing someone, as weird as that sounds, if you hit him, he gets slowed down, so space him, and you should be able to do quite well in the matchup. Okay, annoying matchups. Yeah, they're just very frustrating to play against. Like, their job is to neutralize your game and just give you complete, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm allowed to say that word, but you're just there to pretty much frustrate you from playing the game. And to me, the best way for them to play into you is to just deny your marks, to deny you from outscaling them, because you should outscale pretty much all these champions, but maybe Ivern, depending on the kind of comp Ivern has. But yeah, I would suggest going like not too expensive build. Go like items that are good for the game. Kraken Cleaver, Sharpforce Cleaver, these kind of like items. Serpent's Fang versus Ivern, remember to maybe buy that. I usually only buy Serpent's Fang if they have 3+ type shielding. If it's just Ivern shielding, I don't feel like it's worth to build Serpent's Fang. But, you know, it's up to you end of the day. That's just my rule. I feel like I only buy it if they have 3 champs legit shielding themselves. But yeah, to me, just try to outscale them with marks and get gold, because you should do very good into them later on at 3 items. Versus Poppy, I mean, she's very cringe. I mean, she pins you to the wall and then you can't play. So yeah, you just have to play around that. It is what it is, you know. I would say QSS is very OP versus all these champions. So make sure to buy QSS also later on to the game. Okay, the Yasuo combo matchups. I mean, to me, Witsend, armor boots, Tabas have to be so broken. I always buy both of them. And sometimes I'll buy Randuin's third or fourth item. And just having these kind of combo pairings make you very hard to kill. And to me, your job as a Kindred versus these champions are to burn the wind wall so you can play the game, or your AD carry can play the game, or just like get them to engage on you, and then you will just win the fight because you're hard to kill if you build the way I'm suggesting you to build with the very tanky items, which you still do damage with, and you should go conquer if you build like this at the end of the day. So, yeah, that is the best way to play against him. It should feel very rough to play against the Yasuo combos because like Windwall is just OP versus marksman champions, and you're a marksman champion. So, yeah, I suggest build like this. Never go full crits. I think you're trolling if you do, unless you have the enchanter. Like Zillion maybe, or even like plus like CC. If you have like D Kindred comp, maybe you're allowed to go full damage, but I would rather just go the classic like Triforce type build, buy Shred, buy Armor Pen, and with like a randoms later on, slash Witsend. That is just my suggestion. Okay, Fiddle and Kayn, they're very interesting. They're very easy to play against early. Just I would say invade them constantly. So they want to get the level 6. Kayn isn't able to farm because Kayn needs to farm a lot. Blue Kayn specifically only feels bad to play against when he has like 3-4 items. When he's just one-shotting people. So that is like the only time it feels bad to play against Kayn. Red Kayn is very easy to play against. The thing that form is legit useless. I think Kayn players are trolling when they play Red Kayn, but that's just me. But yeah, and into Fiddle, being able to track him the whole game so he doesn't get free ultimates is the only way this champion even gets value in the game. So constantly try to track him, and it should be very easy just to play against Fiddle. Okay, Elise. Nunu could have been on this list, but I think it's a lot easier. I mean, Elise is just you want to play the outscaler pretty much. Also, I suggest playing with Sun or running this tenacity shard you have in your room page. I actually tried it the other day. It didn't even feel bad. Like, yes, you might lose the extra HP. You can buy like Phage for Sun if you want to, but running this early game is very good into the Elise. You're actually able just to escape the ECC sooner, and it's very nice to have. So try it out if you want to, or you can just buy full Witsend and just take HP rune. So yeah, I mean, just track her and play to outscale. That's like the best advice I can give. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know down below. And if you want to see specific concepts, like how to invade and just how to play certain sequences, I can do that for sure. And the next videos would be Kindred 101, knowing how to invade and just how to not ruin the game as a jungler, because I think Lilia junglers do that a lot. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in future videos.